Hey there from D1 Nationals. We're Scott Magazine, presented by Spin Ultimate. This is part of the college tour. I'm Jimmy Leppert.
Coit Stevenson.
Jonas Cole.
And we're going to do a quick repack of the 4 pools today. Jonas, you started with Pool A. What can you tell us about that?
In Pool A, we saw one of the day's most highly anticipated matchups between number 1 overall seed Oregon and number 8 seed Colorado. Seemed as though Oregon was in control most of the game. Till late in the game, sitting on 3-break cushion, Colorado started to make a surge and came back, eventually taking the lead 14-13 on the back of their captains Jimmy Mickle and Tim Morrissey. It wasn't quite enough to push it to the end, though, with Oregon fighting back for that O point and then a universe point victory, taking the game 15-14. Oregon would go on to win their second game of the day, going 2-0, along with the Dartmouth Pain Train, who won both of their games today over Georgia Joja 15-13, as well as the University of Washington Sun Dodgers 15-10. Tomorrow, we'll look forward to a matchup between the University of Colorado and Dartmouth College.
All right, over in Pool B, the big game that happened that everyone was watching was Wisconsin versus Carleton. Wisconsin's obviously here with a home crowd, and it was a really back-and-forth game, but there was never any doubt from most of the spectators and Carleton that they were in control of that game. Wisconsin's strategy just to huck it and go from there wasn't really working on offense or when they were trying to get a break on Carleton. The game to watch tomorrow in Pool B will be Harvard versus Wisconsin. This game could potentially decide second. Harvard looked pretty good today so far. They looked a little bad against Cornell. So did Wisconsin. So that's going to turn out to be a great game. Over in Pool C, the big game was not UNC Central Florida. It was UNC Luther. North Carolina fell down early to Luther. Luther took half, looked in control of this game, got the whole thing. UNC had just come out from their loss against UCF. But just like they did against UCF, UNC roared back in the second half and were able to tie it up. Now at 15-15, Luther was on their own end line, throw a hammer across the UNC zone, and Jonathan Nethercutt caught the hammer for the Callahan and the win. What a way for UNC to cap off that day and go 1-1 on the day. The big game to watch tomorrow, though, will be Ohio versus UNC. While Ohio did lose today to UC Davis, Ohio could take down UNC, and that could really make things interesting going between the second and third spots in that pool that Central Florida pretty much has wrapped up. What about Pool D?
Okay, so in Pool D, the first game of the day was between Arizona and Texas. Arizona came out in their patented zone, and it didn't really prove effective against the Texas offense. Texas had seen their zone before the Stanford invite. Texas ended up losing that game in the Stanford invite 15-13, but they got their revenge today against the Arizona zone. It was obvious that Texas had seen this zone before because their positioning, their timing was enough to shred right through the zone every time it was thrown on them. The game to watch tomorrow is going to be between the undefeated UNC Wilmington, they went 2-0 today, against Texas. Again, this is going to be deciding the second seed in the pool and who has presumably an easier time in the pre-quarters.
So that was Friday of the D1 Nationals here in Madison, Wisconsin. For Scott Magazine, presented by Spin Ultimate, I'm Jimmy Leppert.
I'm Coit Stevenson.
And I'm Jonas Cole.
Thanks for tuning in. See you tomorrow.